Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is June 5th, 2024, and Hansi Flick is set to arrive in Barcelona next week. Also, the club have very strong interest in Mikel Merino, and finally, another club has joined the race for Mika Faye. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo and this is the Barca News live podcast, which is on every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where not only do I get to share Barcelona news with you, but I also get to interact with you lovely people in the chat section by reading your comments out loud, answering your questions, and getting the discussion going. Now, for those of you who will be watching when the live stream ends, don't worry, I will be putting timestamps in the description and chapters in the timeline. Guess you do want to skip through it. Now, before we begin, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. All of this helps this channel continue to grow. If you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure you hit the kit bag. If you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure you hit the Bet Us. Both links for Kitbag and Bet Us are in the description. If you click on it, you get access to some pretty cool offers and discounts. But anyways, forget all of that. Let's dive right into the news, because Hansi Flick is set to arrive in Barcelona on Monday. Now, you might say, Mo, what do you mean Hansi Flick is going to arrive on Monday? He already arrived. Yes, he did land in Barcelona. He signed his contract. He did the little interviews that he did for the Barcelona official media, but then he left because there's no one at the club, right? All the players who are participating in international competitions, they've already reported to their international teams. The players who are not participating, they are on summer break. A lot of the people at the club are on summer break, including Deco. So no one's at the club. So Flick did leave, and he is now set to officially arrive, kind of as in his duty as coach, because, you know, last week or 2 weeks ago when he arrived, it was just to sign his contract. Now he will be arriving within his official duties as Barcelona coach on Monday. So next week, Hansi Flick is set to land in the city of Barcelona. He'll be arriving with his three other staff members, which are Marcus Sorg, Tapalovic, and finally Besterman, Haiku Besterman, who is the most recent one to join his team. So all four of them will land in the city of Barcelona. They have a lot on their plate. First, Hansi Flick is going to get settled in his office within sporting complex. He's also set to visit with his staff all the training facilities of Barcelona, so he can, get to inspect them, get to see what's available, if there's anything that needs to be changed, anything needs to be added, removed, etc. He's also set to meet with the entire staff of Barcelona, so he can get to know everyone. And finally, he is set to sit down with Deco, where the two will talk about transfers, transfers as far as players staying and players leaving. Now, Hansi Flick is supposed to present a list to Deco of the players he thinks he wants to keep and the player he thinks that need to leave. Deco is also going to present his own list to Hansi Flick of the players who he believes needs to stay and the players he needs to leave. They're going to compare notes. But this, of course, is not a final draft. This is just Hansi Flick's initial draft and Deco's initial draft. The two are going to sit down. They're going to talk about it. They're going to compare notes. And from there, the next steps will be decided. Now, even though Hansi Flick is not going to land in Barcelona until next week, don't worry, because he is hard at work, because it's being reported that Hansi Flick is currently studying individual profile of each Barcelona player. Now, we know that Hansi spent the last 3 months studying the team, studying the academy, but now he has been studying each player, studying their profiles, looking at their stats, watching previous matches. He's going to be watching their matches now in the Copa America and the Euros, depending on which player will participate in which, because once all the players are back in July, or most of them are back in July, Hansi Flick wants to have individual meetings with each player where Hansi Flick will discuss, specifics of each player, like say, hey, you're great, I count on you, this is what you need to improve, this is what you're doing good, or you know what, you suck, this is what you need to improve, or you know what, you suck, I'm not going to count on you. But before that happens, Hansi Flick wants to be as knowledgeable as possible, so he's studying the profile of each individual player. Also, he hasn't introduced himself to the players yet because he wants to finish his Spanish course. Hansi Flick is still going through his Spanish course, so by July he wants to be done with his Spanish course, having studied every single player, and that way he can introduce himself to each player individually in Spanish, discuss their stats, discuss their profile, discuss what they need to improve, etc. So even though Hansi's not arriving until Monday in his capacity as Barcelona coach, he's already hard at work. Anyways, that is the news for Hansi Flick. Let's do some comments, and then we will talk about Mikel Merino. All right, let's see. What is everyone saying? Emmanuel says, hello, Mo, watching you from Ghana. What do you think of Luis Diaz and Nico Williams? What's up, Emmanuel? Thank you for tuning in. As far as Luis Diaz and Nico Williams, if I had to choose between the two, I prefer Nico Williams. Nico Williams is still much younger. He's showing a lot of promise. He has a higher ceiling than Luis Diaz. And with Luis Diaz, I'm not saying that I don't like him. I think he's a very interesting player. But he has suffered a lot of injuries as of late. Also, he has hit his prime already. So I don't think we're going to see anything better, if you may. Where Nico Williams is still growing. He's still developing. He's still improving. I think he's a bit more electric than Luis Diaz. So between the two, I prefer Nico Williams. Plus, not to mention that the price, Nico Williams, $50 million release clause, you pay it, he's yours. Luis Diaz, you would have to negotiate with Liverpool. You don't know how much they're going to, land on. And it's most likely going to be 80, 90 million. So it just makes sense to pay the 50 for Nico Williams, much younger, more promise, higher ceiling, someone who knows La Liga already and can come no problems. All right, we have our first donation from Baby's Comeback, who's always watching the live stream, always commenting, always donating, always supporting the channel. Thank you, my friend, for your immense support. But Baby's Comeback says, what's up, Mo? I hope with the Nike renewal, Barcelona can ship merch to the US now. There is talks that the contract does have improvements as far as online sales. We don't know what exactly that means. We just know there's going to be improvement as far as their e-commerce. We'll see if that includes the U.S. Hopefully, to me, it absolutely makes no sense. The U.S. is one of the biggest, if not the biggest markets in the world as far as purchasing power. And it doesn't make sense that as one of the biggest clubs in the world, you're not going to access one of the richest markets in the world. That, to me, is just stupid. I don't know who was in charge of this, but needs to be fired ASAP. In fact, I actually ordered one of the chairs from the stadium, from the old Spotify Camp Nou. It just arrived in my friend's house who lives in Spain. The box is huge. So she was texting me today saying, hey, how am I going to get this box to you? So now we got to figure out how to ship the box from Spain to the US because Barcelona doesn't ship to fucking the US. It's the dumbest shit ever. But there is news that there's improvements as far as the e-commerce. We'll see if that's going to include the US. Hopefully. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Arnold says, hey, Mo, I'm so happy to catch the live podcast today. I have been missing it lately due to my work schedule, but I was watching all the resumes. Thanks for the good and hard work you are doing. Thank you, my friend, for watching. I'm glad you're back in the live. I hope I can see you more often in the live stream. Thank you for supporting the channel. And Abdulli says, we need to stop focusing on Real Madrid and Xavi can only manage young players. That's a fact. We could have won the Champions League if had tried the big boys. That's actually not true because it's actually the youngsters who were the ones carrying the team. It's the Pau Cubarcis and Lamine Yamals and Fermin Lopez's and Hector Foy's. They're the ones who've actually showed up. So I don't think that assessment is right at all. Which is also an excuse used by a lot of Xavi apologists who be like, wow, what do you expect from Xavi? It's all young people. And it's like, wait, but it's the young people who are actually the ones carrying the team. So how is that an excuse? But anyways, On Fire Up says, is there any chance we could sign Alvarez? He could be a generational signing. Nope. No chance. Maybe down the road, but not today. Let's not forget. And I want to clarify this because I posted a video yesterday telling you about how the Nike deal is very, very close to being finalized, right? 100 million signing bonus, maybe up to 150. They're negotiating between 100 and 150. But that signing bonus will go to cover Barcelona's deficit. Once that deficit is covered, Barcelona are back to the 1-to-1 rule, which means that for every euro that they make, they can use to sign a player. But that doesn't solve Barcelona's financial problems. Barcelona still need liquidity. They still need cash. If you go to Barcelona's bank account right now, it's empty. So yes, the bonus puts you back to the 1-to-1 rule, but you still need money to buy players. And Barcelona doesn't have money. So before we all get excited saying, hey, the Nike deal is going to solve our problems and we're going to be able to sign Mbappe, Haaland, Julian Alvarez, and 5 other stars, that's not happening. We're still going to have to sell players. We're still going to have to figure out where to get money to sign players. Yes, we'll be able to sign them without any financial fair play restrictions, but you still have the fact that you don't have money, right? It's like, think about it when you were a kid and you wanted to go to a party really bad, and your mom was like, you can only go to the party if you clean your room. And you're like, all right, so you clean your room. Your mom's like, all right, you can go now. Cool, now you have permission to go. But you still need the money. You still need money to buy, I don't know, alcohol, pizza, taxi fare, whatever, right? The 100 million from Nike will allow us to sign with no problem. But you still need the money to sign it. Okay, speaking of signing, let's go back to the news and talk about Mikel Merino, who Barcelona are very, very interested in signing him. Now, I brought you this news actually a few months ago. I said Barcelona were seriously considering Mikel Merino. I had some people tell me, where do you get this stuff from? You're making things up. Well, I'm here to tell you, I'm not making anything up. I don't make anything up on this channel. But Barcelona are very, very interested in signing Mikel Merino, the 27-year-old center midfielder who currently plays at Real Sociedad. And Barcelona think that he is a very interesting and highly valued profile for Hansi Flick's system of play. Now, we know that Hansi Flick likes to play with a double pivot. He likes both his pivots to be mobile, to be able to move up and help with the attack, then come back down and help with the defense. He likes his pivots to be able to combine with their teammates to make runs to the box. And well, Barcelona considered that Mikel Merino fits that profile perfectly and could fit in Hansi Flick's scheme of play very, very well. Now, for now, as I told you in yesterday's video, Hansi Flick would like Barcelona to sign Joshua Kimmich. In fact, he would like to personally get involved, call Joshua Kimmich, and see if he would like to come to Barcelona. What's the problem there? The problem is Kimmich's salary. Kimmich wants to earn around 20 million per season because he wants to sign kind of like one last big contract before he retires or before he ends up going to, some retirement league like the MLS or Saudi Arabia. But so if Kimmich insists on a 20 million, there's no way that Barcelona can sign him. Now, Hansi would like to call him and see not only if he can convince him to come to Barcelona, but if he can also convince him to lower his expectations. If that doesn't work, then Mikel Merino would be the number one option for the center midfield position as an alternative for Joshua Kimmich, because Mikel Merino's contract expires next summer 2025, just like Joshua Kimmich. Now, Mikel Merino is valued at around 50 million, but given that this will be his last year of contract, Barcelona could try to get less for him, right? Because this will be Real Sociedad's last chance to make money off him. Otherwise, next summer or summer 2025, he would be leaving as a free agent. Now, an interesting thing, by the way, about Mikel Merino, I saw this really cool stat while I was doing some research on him. Mikel Merino in the 7 top European leagues, not 5, the 7 top European leagues. So that's Spain, Portugal, France, Germany, England, Italy, and Dutch. It's the 7 top European leagues. Mikel Merino is sitting number 1 in the most duels won. So in the 7 leagues in Europe, Mikel Merino has the most duels won this past season. higher than Guimaraes, higher than Kudus, higher than Kimmich, than Subimendi, and all these big names who will cost a lot of money. Merino has the most duels won in Europe's top 7 leagues. 7 leagues. Out of 7 leagues, he has the most duels won. Incredible stat. Plus, not to mention, he has the experience. He's played in La Liga. He's played in the Premier. He's played in the Bundesliga. So, very highly valued option that Barcelona are seriously considering. And honestly, I love it. I mean, he would cost less than Kimmich. His salary would be lower than Kimmich. He's 2 years younger than Kimmich. Sure, Kimmich is, a little bit better when it comes to skill, but for the price that you could get Merino, I think he's a very, very valid option. But anyways, let's do more comments. Let's see what you guys are talking about, and then we will talk about Guido Rodriguez. All right, let's see. Where did we leave off? Some random mofo says, wait, is Mikel Merino a starting option, or is he going to be rotational with us, maybe buying Kimmich too, or is he a bench option? I'm very confused. Can you tell me the place Mikel Merino will have? Mikel Merino will be the option B to Kimmich. If Kimmich does not work out, if he continues insisting on a 20 million euro salary, or if he simply says, I don't want to go to Barca, I want to stay at Bayern, or I want to go to Manchester City or PSG or whatever, then Mikel Merino would be it. He would be the replacement. Let's see. Where did we go? Benji says, Mo, I already like Flick, the way he is planning for the coming season. Yes, but let's give him time. Let's not get our hopes super up and be like, wow, Flick is going to win us a sextuple like by December, even though, you need to play the whole season. And then December comes and people are like, oh my God, Flick out. Let's give him some time. I'm excited. I'm optimistic, but let's give him time. He just arrived. He hasn't even met the players. Ross, my man Ross says, hey Mo, whatever happened to us pursuing Arnau Martinez last year? He any good? Also, yes to Williams, no to Coman. Arnau Martinez, that operation died a long time ago. Barcelona kind of liked him. They thought he showed promise and he had some spark, but they didn't think he was ready yet. And that operation ended, I think it was last summer when Barcelona decided that Arnau Martinez was just not going to be, it. And Israel says, I'll give Coman more motivation to be better than his national teammate Mbappe, who is going to Real. Coman will be a great asset. My problem with Coman is his injuries. He has way too many injuries. In fact, they were talking about for a while that he was even considering retiring because he was just plagued by injuries. And, if he comes and spends most of the time on the bench because he's injured, then what's the point? All right. Yuriko says, we need to stop being compassionate about players that hasn't impacted or influenced the team in any way. We have a liability. We're getting and paying players according to their merits. Indeed. That should always be the case. We should always pay players based on their merits. And with that comment, let's segue into another bit of news. And this time we do have to talk about Guido Rodriguez. Now, as we know, Guido Rodriguez was Xavi Hernandez's special request. Xavi wanted to sign him. As such, Barcelona reached a pre-agreement with the Argentine so he can come to the club this summer as a free agent. And people say Xavi never gets his signings. 22 signings the club made for him. And this was going to be another one. But anyways, I digress. But that pre-agreement expired. I think it was May 31st, if I'm not mistaken, because Hansi Flick said, hold on, let's pause everything. I still want to finish evaluating all the operations and see whether, Guido Rodriguez will be someone I want on my team. So the operation was paused. The pre-agreement expired. There was kind of like a lull there where we didn't know if it's a yes or a no. We just know it was on hold. And well, now it's been confirmed that it's a definite no. If I had a big red stamp, I would go boom on the picture. But Guido Rodriguez is no longer coming to Barcelona, ladies and gentlemen, because Hansi Flick does not consider that Guido is ready for what Hansi Flick requires from his pivots. Because as I said before, Hansi Flick depends on that double pivot. He likes his pivots very mobile, lots of intensity, lots of running, lots of ground to cover, going up and down, Guido Rodriguez is more of your typical positional midfielder where he's the anchor of the midfield. He stays behind, defending. He might try to break some lines with his forward passes, but overall he's someone who stays back. And that's not the kind of pivots that Hansi Flick likes. He likes very mobile pivots, someone like Frankie who runs a lot like that. So as such, Hansi Flick considers that Guido does not really fit the profile of what he's looking for. And as such, this operation has been ruled out, and the Argentine will no longer sign for Barcelona. We'll see where he goes. We'll see whether he'll end up renewing with Real Betis or he'll go somewhere else, because his contract with Real Betis are set to expire at the end of this month. So in other words, womp womp. All right, let's do more comments, and then we'll talk about Mika Faye. All right, let's see. Where did we leave off? Kevin says, hey, Mo, greetings from Sweden. Sweden! That's awesome. I know you don't want Joao Felix in the team, but would you rather have Williams now before the Euros or wait and give Fati a chance? Ooh, that's a good question, my friend. That's a good question. I would like to give Ansu a chance. I think Ansu can still recover, because a lot of people forgot what Ansu was doing before his injuries. I mean, Ansu at 18 years old, he was starting with the first team, scoring goals, cutting through defenses like a hot knife through butter. He was incredibly promising. So we know that Ansu has the skills, has the raw talent. We know that. That's undoubtedly. This is not like a flop who we thought he could be someone and he ends up sucks. It's not like Ferran where we were like, okay, maybe he's good. No, he's not. No. This is this guy who's really skilled and talented. We know that. We've seen it. The only reason why he can't now use his full potential is because of his injuries. But I believe that he can recover from his injuries, because let's not forget, he's only 21. Ansu's incredibly young. He's still growing. His muscles are still developing. His muscles are still growing. His tendons are still getting stronger and stronger. And I think that once he's older and his body continues to mature, he will eventually recover from his injuries. Like Dembele. A lot of people are like, oh, Barcelona's conditioning is so crap that Dembele was always injured, but now at PSG he's not. And it's like, no. You are mistaking correlation with causation. The reason why Dembele is not being injured at PSG is because he has hit his prime. Be it Dembele got overused when he was young, and as a result, that weakened his muscles. So he had incredibly weak muscles that healed very slowly. That's why he was constantly getting injured. But now that he's hit his prime, his muscles are now fully developed. Now he's less prone to injury. If Dembele would have stayed at Barcelona, he would have still stayed healthy, because it's not about what club he's in. It's about the fact that he has hit his prime. Because remember, Dembele was getting injured under Valverde, under Koeman, under Setien, and under Xavi. So it's not a conditioning matter. So I really think Ansu Fati can reach that level. And I would love to see him, get a chance. After all, he cost us nothing. He's an academy player. He loves the club like no one. So I would. Now, would I still want Nico? Of course. I think we can have both. Why not? Nico, Ansu's not going to cost us anything. He's already ours. We don't have to pay his transfer fee. So I think I would love to have both. Have Nico start and alternate with Ansu, and maybe get Ansu confidence up, and then we could have two great choices for the left wing, a position that we have no one for right now. And between, Joao Felix, who thinks he's too good for anyone, who won't even run after the ball, who's absolutely lazy and a total diva, and Ansu, I would rather have Ansu any day. I would rather have an injured Ansu over the diva Joao Felix. But anyways, all right, let's do one more, and then we will talk about Mika Faye. Let's. Work Hard says, imagine missing out on Nico Williams to give Ansu another chance. Not what I said. I said I would like to have both. I don't know why people always have this dichotomy of thoughts. It's like their brains cannot handle more than two options. It's like it's either A or it's B. No, you can have both. You can either have water or juice. You can drink water and juice. You don't have to have one or the other. Expand your bandwidth of thoughts, my friends. It's not always mutually exclusive. There's more than two options. All right, let's see. Yanana says, new king, new law. Xavi wanted Guido. Flick doesn't. Simple. I think Flick can get best out of Fati. The boy deserves a second chance. Greetings from Ghana. I agree, my friend. Let's see. One more, and then we will do the last bit of news, and then we'll do more comments, I promise. Let's see. Sean says, good evening. Today I watched Barca Athletic versus Ibiza and saw a run from Pau Victor, similar to Messi, putting Boateng on his butt. But this guy is a potential beast. He should be given some game time. Well, the plan is to sign Pau Victor. He has a release clause worth 3 million euros. We'll see if maybe the negotiations for Eric Garcia will factor into that. But Barcelona have already opened conversation with Girona over the futures of Pablo Torre, who most likely will end up on loan again with Girona, Romeo, who will be sold to Girona, Eric Garcia, who will be sold or loaned with an option to buy, and then finally Pau Victor coming to Barcelona. All right, let's do the last bit of news, and then we'll do more comments. Don't worry. There is more comments coming. I promise. Okay, let's talk about Mika Faye, because another club, yes, you heard that right, another club wants the Senegalese 19-year-old center back. Now, the new club is Porto. Why? Because Andoni Zubizarreta, who used to be the former Barcelona sporting director, has joined Porto. He's now their sporting director. He really wants to have Mika Faye. Now, Mika Faye remains Deco's number one option. Mika Faye is Deco's signing, and he is Deco's bet. Deco wants to bet on Mika Faye. He considers him a player with lots of potential, with a bright future, and Deco wants Mika Faye to stay at the club. What's the problem? Well, it's a twofold problem. The first one is that there are a lot of clubs interested in him, and his agent is insisting you either give him a first-team spot or we're leaving. So that's the one problem. The other problem is the club's finances, because Barcelona have an overflow of center backs. We have Christensen, we have Koundé, Araujo, Cubarsí, Íñigo. You have a lot of center backs. Barcelona need to sell players in order to be able to sign new ones. And if you have a player, a center back, a 19-year-old center back who is telling you he wants to leave, you either give me a spot or you make me leave, and you need to sell players, and he happens to play in a position where you have plenty of players, then Barcelona kind of gets a little bit of incentive to now sell him, right? Because you could argue, okay, does Mika Faye have, lots of potential? Sure. Can he become maybe one of the best center backs of our team? Sure. But is he better than any of the center backs right now? The answer is no. Can he become better than Araujo? Maybe. Is he better than Araujo now? No. Can he be better than Cubarsí? Maybe. Is he better than Cubarsí now? No. And the same is the answer for Koundé, for Christensen, for Íñigo. So if you have a center back who's telling you either give me a spot or I leave, and you need to sell players, and he can generate you a lot of money, now it starts, now you start thinking about it. Now, Deco still wants to keep Mika Faye. He still wants him. But if the agent continues to insist on leaving, then Deco could try to arrange to sell Mika Faye, but include a buyback clause in his contract, the same way Barcelona did when they sold Nico Gonzalez to Porto. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Hansi Flick still wants to try out Mika Faye in the summer. Barcelona want to respect that. So even if Barcelona say, okay, let's just, let's sell Mika Faye, they still want to give Hansi Flick first a chance to try him out. And maybe, Hansi's like, no, keep him. So for now, he's still going to be tried by Hansi Flick. Deco still wants to keep him. But the player's agent is insisting. First team spot or we leave. And the pressure is mounting, and Barcelona are going to have to make a decision pretty soon because the offers keep pouring in. We're talking about now 11, 12 clubs who are interested in him. All right. That is it. Let's do a few more comments, and then we will end this. And Zapata says, it's crazy how much you've grown since I subbed in December. Thank you, my friend. I actually don't believe it myself, to be honest. Whenever I open my YouTube app and I see how much it's increased, I still like it's still pretty difficult to believe. So thank you all of you guys who have subscribed and who watch the channel every day. It's thanks to you that this channel continues to grow. And McBarca says, no way Faye's agent thinks he's bigger than the club. I agree 100% with you, my friend. I think that's a mistake that a lot of players have made in the past, a lot, including Xavi Simons. What was his name? Oh my God. Whose brother also plays in the academy. Elias Moriba. I mean, the list is endless. It always happens. You have these young players who showing a lot of promise, a lot of potential. They're in the academy. Barcelona has a plan for them. We're like, all right, you're gonna play this much time in Barca Athletic, then you're gonna go with the first team, train with them, and they have like a specific plan to develop them into, you know, first team stars, but they're just in a hurry. They're like, no, I want it now. And they end up leaving, and most of the time it doesn't work out for them. It hasn't worked out for Elias Moriba. It hasn't worked out for Abde. And it's a shame. It's a shame because I think if Mika Faye decides to be patient and says, okay, like I'm going to follow the club's plan, I'm going to take my time, I think Barcelona could turn him probably into one of the best, if not the best, center back in Europe. But if he lets his agent just, you know, be impatient and be in a hurry, we want first spot now. And it's like, sorry, but you don't get to call the shots. This is FC Barcelona. They have a plan for the player. If you want to follow the plan, great. And if not, there's the door. Because right now, Mika Faye, he might have more potential than all of our center backs, but he's not better than our center backs right now. You cannot tell me that Mika Faye, a third division player, is going to be able to start ahead of Araujo or ahead of Kubarsi or ahead of Christensen or ahead of Kunde. These are proven players. These are fully developed players that have proven themselves on the biggest stages. And you can't demand that your player who just finished one season in third division, not even in second, gets to start ahead of players with much more experience than yours. So I think Mika Faye needs to be patient. He needs to follow the club's plan, and not let his agent ruin his career like many agents before have ruined the careers of others for being impatient or for wanting the money because, you know, I'm not trying to accuse Mika Faye's agent of being greedy. I don't know him. But if Mika Faye stays at Barcelona, that's zero money for the agent. But if he sells him to another club, he's going to get his big bonus. Plus, Mika Faye will probably get a much bigger salary. So now you get a bigger percentage of a bigger salary. It's a shame. But anyways, let's do Trick Shot Coulee with the donation. Trick Shot Coulee always watching the live streams, always commenting, always donating, and he's a channel member. Thank you, my friend, for your support. And Trick Shot Coulee says, who keeps changing his name, by the way. It's very confusing. I'm kidding. Says, hope you're well, bro. When you went to Barcelona last time, did the stadium look like it may end up being ready to play in come November? Any updates? I just can't wait to get back home. I did the video of the museum tour. At the end of the video, I added some footage of the stadium. The stadium, the third level, is still going up. Because, you know, it had three levels, right? 3 rings. The third ring was completely demolished. And they only have the 2 original levels. And now they're building a third one around those 2 original ones. I cannot really tell you if it looks like it was on its way or not. I'm not a construction expert. I'm not an engineer, or I've never worked construction, so I can't tell you. But what Barcelona are reporting is that everything is on schedule. All the construction is being done on time. They're meeting all their deadlines. In fact, I reported in other videos how Barcelona had requested from the city to extend the hours of work time, which were approved. Then they requested to be able to work on Saturdays. That was also approved. So it's moving along. They're saying by the end of the year, and they're saying everything's going on schedule. So let's hope so. All right, let's see. Shirandu says Xabi wanted a right back, CDM, winger, and central striker, the same that Flick is requesting. Xabi wanted a right back. Barcelona got him Cancelo. Xabi requested Romeo for the CDM position. Barcelona got him that. Xabi requested Guido Rodriguez for the CDM position. Barcelona reached an agreement with him. Of course, Xabi's gone now. And Xabi requested Lewandowski for the central striker and Vitor Roque. And Barcelona brought him both. The only thing that Xabi did not get is the left winger. Now, Flick is not requesting a central striker. I don't know where you got that from. Flick is not requesting a right back. I don't know where you get that from. The only two positions that Flick is requesting is a left winger and a center midfielder for his double pivot. Those are the only two things that Flick is requesting. Anything else, he's fine with. Whatever they bring him, they bring him. But those are the two positions that he thinks that need to be reinforced. All right, let's see. What else? Asia 48 says, and Kubarsi was thrown to the fire because of injuries. He's just panning out nicely, so Kubarsi is an exception. Kubarsi was not a fluke. Kubarsi was showing promise in the academy for a very long time. In fact, there was already talks about promoting Kubarsi, and I remember people losing their mind, saying, why are they promoting Kubarsi over Mika Faye? That's obviously favoritism to Spanish players. And we saw why. I think we saw what Kubarsi did in the Champions League at 17 years old, 2 years younger than Mika Faye. So to say that he was promoted because it was a fluke or because favoritism to Spanish players, it's bull. Kubarsi has been showing promise for a very long time in the academy. Just because you heard of him recently, it doesn't mean he wasn't already making a big splash all the way since he was a kid. Let's remember, Kubarsi has been at the academy for many, many years. Mika Faye just arrived. Of course, Kubarsi is going to get promoted before because he already knows the concepts of how to play in a Barcelona team. Mika Faye didn't. Maybe he does now after a season. But when there was talks about promoting Kubarsi over Mika Faye, I remember a lot of people getting mad. I'm like, what are you getting mad over? Kubarsi knows the club way better than Mika Faye and is showing more promise than Mika Faye. Ferdinand says, hey, Mo, do you understand the Nike Libero deal? Are we going to move to the one-on-one rule just with a Nike deal? What's EOW? Or do we also need Libero? Okay, so I explained this in yesterday's video. By the way, thank you for the donation. The 100 million from Nike will cover the deficit, and Barcelona will be on the 1-1 rule. That's it. Now, we still need cash. We still need liquidity. So just because we move to the 1-1 rule does not mean that all of a sudden we can sign Haaland, Mbappe, and 10 other stars. It just means that for every euro that we make, we can spend a euro to sign a player. But if you don't have any euros, it doesn't even matter. But yes, the Nike deal will put us back on the 1-1 rule, and the deadline is June 30th, but the deal is expected to be signed pretty soon before the deadline. All right, one more, and then we will end this. But Yaniel says, yo, Mo, I've been in a minute, but I've been watching the video. What do you think about the formation 4-2-3-1 that Flick will bring? Whatever works, my friend. Whatever works. At this point, who am I to be picky about formations? If Flick can restore the competitiveness of the squad, if he can make our squad play with intensity again, to be able to maintain possession of the ball and be useful or purposeful possession of the ball, not just passing the ball around from side to side and back to back like with Xabi. But if Flick can get us to that point where we have purposeful possession of the ball, we have intensity, where we're constantly attacking, creating chances, creating danger, being able to high press when we lose the ball and recover it immediately. If he can make us competitive again, I don't care if he does it with a 4-2-3-1, a 4-3-3, a 4-4-2, a 5-8-9-11. I don't care what formation he does, as long as he makes us competitive once again and have us play with that intensity that his teams are known for and that what Barcelona was known for. But anyways, that is all, my friends. Thank you a million times. Thank you for tuning in, for your likes, your subscriptions, your donations. You guys are absolutely amazing. I will be uploading another video because there's a lot of news today. Another video in about an hour, I'd say. So I will see you in that video. Thank you again. And as always, Visca Barça.